Hello, everyone, and welcome to Oklahoma Small Business Daily. Today's news. I'm a little bit running behind today, but boy, do I have an article for you today. The article that I want to talk about is an article from Clara Bridge, and it was about how there is a major spike in a lot of the social media platforms right now. I think we are all of no surprise there. This was an article that I had recently posted on our small business group on Facebook, Oklahoma Small Business Network group, and this article that I had posted over the weekend was about how all social media platforms have taken a spike here since March, except for one social media platform. And the article went over some of the ones that were seeing the largest increase in spike since March. TikTok was by far the largest increase or spike since March, and TikTok's rise was 47% increase since March. That is insane. I think there's a few reasons for that. One of the reasons I think is when I look at the things going on in TikTok, there is a lot of things going on in TikTok right now that have to do with the current situation. So there is a lot of things that are on the For You page, which if you're not on TikTok, the For You page is kind of like the like you can see everybody's posts. So those are like the very popular posts for that time. And the very popular posts for the most recent few weeks have all been things that have surrounded the coronavirus. So there's things about like when your husband's home working and you don't have a job, or when your wife's home working and you don't have a job, or whatever it might be. So there's a lot of like relevant current situation things going on right now in TikTok. And I think a lot of people are sharing that with their spouse or sharing that with their friends. And they're like, hey, I want to see videos like that. And so you see a huge trajectory in that. Another one, a little sleeper that I thought might be kind of done with was Snapchat. Snapchat, this article went on to say, a big competitor of TikTok is seeing a second highest relative growth in interest, which is 18.5%, which is pretty insane. It went on to say Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, predominantly used by adults, are seeing mild upticks of around 15% in search interest lately. And then finally, Pinterest was the smallest, but still saw a slight increase of 5%. And I think a lot of this is not necessarily user growth, so they're getting new users. I think a lot of this is people on the platforms more. And I think we all know that since people are working from home right now, you're seeing more and more users on that. So a couple things to address on the upticks before we get to the one loser. The upticks that we're seeing in search, seeing upticks in search interest, I think that's because we're seeing more people on it. Why are we seeing more people on it? Is because more people are home right now instead of at actual places of business and things like that. We have a huge unemployment situation going on right now. And then finally, the cool thing about that from a business standpoint is this has significantly, and I think that we've seen this in our platforms as well as of us posting as a feed store, but this significantly helps your organic reach, what you would call the people, the amount of people that like your post, the amount of people that comment on your posts and things like that. Your organic reach of you're just posting things, you're not paying for other people to see it or anything like that. However, I think since so many businesses are in a dip right now, there's restaurants that are maybe not out of business yet, but are severely struggling. A lot of people aren't marketing right now. So you have a huge amount of demand. There's a lot more eyeballs on these platforms right now, especially, when you see a 15% increase in searches on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. These aren't new. You think about a business that has been in business for a long time. If a business that has been around for 30 years has a 15% increase, that's a huge increase. And, with over 1 billion users on Facebook, a 15% increase is huge. And so you have this huge demand, but then with all these businesses struggling right now, and a lot of businesses that are even closed down or whatever it might be, a lot of events aren't happening and things like that, you have a large amount of demand, but not that much supply of people that are advertising on these platforms. As a result, we've noticed a lot of our paid ads are actually getting a little bit lower click CPMs and things like that. So I think we're seeing a large amount of supply right now. Or a large amount of demand and not a lot of supply from other businesses advertising. So if you are in the situation where you have it in your budget to advertise right now and you do some advertising on social media, I think now is an awesome time to advertise if you have that ability in your budget to do that. The one that I wanted to talk about that is a loser right now. The article goes on to say the only large social network that is experiencing a significant downturn in search attention is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has seen a 23% drop, to be precise. The obvious explanation, the article goes on to say, might be that a large part of the global economy has come to a standstill, and thus public communication on work-related achievements, aka boasting your success, has also declined. And I have to agree with that. I think a lot of people use LinkedIn to post articles about their company, to post work-related things per se. And since a lot of people aren't working necessarily outside the home, you are seeing a lot less posting on LinkedIn, it seems like. We're seeing a lot less, or I'm seeing a lot less interaction on LinkedIn and things like that. And whether it's that or also whether, what's weird to me is I thought that LinkedIn might have a large increase in volume right now because a lot of people use it for job searching, job resume type of things. And that is one thing I thought with the unemployment being so high right now, I thought that we might see quite a bit of an increase in LinkedIn, but that is just not the case. And whether it's that or whether it's, a lot of businesses don't want to post about, like this article said, their successes right now. If a lot of individuals don't want to post about, or not post about their successes, but they're not having successes. No one's really bragging right now. And even if you are in a good situation, whether your business is doing well right now, you're probably not wanting to brag about it because so many other businesses are struggling right now. So bragging about it would be kind of off color. So LinkedIn is the only large social network that is down in its users right now, and down quite a bit. So clearly, I think that we see that this has something to do with the economy, the situation that we're in right now, whether it's one particular thing about people not wanting to brag on their successes or whether it's, just people aren't working, period, right now. I think that that's why it's probably a culmination of a bunch of different things of why the reach on LinkedIn and why LinkedIn is not seeing a large growth of users right now, or user searches that way. But again, I say, I think that now is a perfect time. I've said it in a few articles. I've said it in some of these videos and podcasts. But I think that now is the perfect time to be advertising. But clearly, if you're going to be advertising right now, you have to proceed with caution, not just advertise about, now's a good time to blah, blah, blah. Obviously keep the relevant things that we're going through right now as a country, the things that other businesses are going through. If you're a B2B type of person, keep those things in mind. If a salesperson is calling another business right now, keep in mind that they might be struggling financially. Keep in mind that a lot of their employees might be stressed or sick or whatever it might be. I think you have to keep the relevancy of our situation that we're going through in mind if you're going to be advertising. But what a time to be alive. There's so much demand on these social networks, which are great for advertising for businesses, and not a lot of supply. So if you are going to advertise, now's your chance, dang it. Thank you for watching. If you're not a part of our Facebook group, Oklahoma Small Business Network, please join us on that page. We'll be posting all the podcasts that we do on video there and try to encourage comments and things like that. If you are on the page, please comment. I appreciate all of your advice. I appreciate all of your thoughts, as we had quite a few comments on our last video there. Thank you so much for watching this episode.